Well, hello, biology minions. It's Coach Holmes here. Thanks for joining in the first biology flipped classroom video tutorial. This video tutorial is going to be a video tutorial about video tutorials because I'm going to show you how to watch a video tutorial. So it may be self-explanatory, but I'm going to show you a great way to do it anyways. So the first step is to have your notes ready. Yes, you're watching the videos at home, but that doesn't mean you don't have to take notes. So get them ready. You can print them out at home, or you can get them from class. This first time through, we will be watching the video in class to practice, and I will hand you some notes too. So I know you don't have them yet if you're watching this already, but you will get them tomorrow. For now, I'm just going to tell you that you should have your notes ready at all times. And before you start watching the video, go ahead and read your notes. Read notes before watching. The next step is to go ahead and watch the video, and then go back and see how many blanks you can fill in just by memory. Because the most important things you will need to write down. Again, it's a very short video, so everything in it is important, and by gosh, if I said it, it's got to be important, right? I know most of you are rolling your eyes at that anyways. Step 4. Rewatch video to complete notes. So the blanks that you didn't fill in the first time through, go ahead and rewatch the video and complete your notes. And at worst, you watch the video twice, so even more practice. Then bring your notes to class nice and complete and ready to roll, and we'll begin doing what makes biology fun, which is more labs and more hands-on activities and doing stuff. Okay, so get ready. Viruses are coming up next.
Hey kiddos, we are here to talk about viruses today, and the best way to talk about viruses is to compare them to something that we know, and that's the cell. We've been working on the cell all year, so it shouldn't be too big of a transition. So let's start with the structure. It's important to realize that viruses are extremely simple. They're nowhere near as complex as cells. Basically, they're composed of two parts, a protein capsid, and the capsid is kind of like a shell, and then they have some sort of genetic material. Either they work with either DNA or RNA. Okay, there we go. Now, the cell, if you recall, is made up of many more things. For example, you've got the cell membrane. Cells also have cytoplasm, and eukaryotic cells will have a whole bunch of organelles as well. All of these things are unique to cells. Viruses do not have these things, but the cell will also have DNA as well. Inside the DNA will be in eukaryotic cells will be found inside the nucleus, but not all cells have a nucleus. Remember, prokaryotic or bacteria cells do not have a nucleus, or DNA is just kind of in the cytoplasm. All right, in terms of reproduction, the virus cannot reproduce on its own. It actually requires a host to reproduce, meaning that it has to hijack an actual living cell versus a cell that can reproduce independently on its own without the need of any outside source. So it can reproduce independently, and that can be either sexually or asexually. As far as genetic code is concerned, the cell, their genetic code, whatever codes for their proteins, is always consistent. It is always going to be DNA. The virus is unique because the virus can work on DNA just like the cell, but many viruses actually, their genetic code is stored on their RNA, making it a little bit different. So it could be either or. Now, as far as growth and development is concerned, viruses do not grow. None. They don't have the enzymes to grow, and they don't have the ribosomes to make the enzymes to grow. So once a virus is created, it doesn't grow or develop, versus a cell that goes through the typical cell cycle where it grows, it develops, it creates energy, it uses energy, it has to obtain nutrients. There's the cell cycle there. Okay, now as far as obtaining and using energy is concerned, the virus, none. They don't obtain, nor do they use energy. They just kind of float around. They have no way to use energy. They have no way to get energy. They are not alive. Versus a cell has a variety of ways that they get energy, and so the answer here is yes. Yes, they do. All right. In terms of the way that they get or obtain energy, there's two ways. There's the autotroph, and there's the heterotroph. All right. Now, as far as response to the environment is concerned, once again, viruses do not. There is no response to the environment. They just simply float around. Once they land on their specific target host, they're set into action, but until then, there is no response to the environment, versus the cell, which does respond to its environment in a variety of ways. So they're very different. The main key here is that the cell and the virus are very different on a variety of ways, but essentially the cell is alive, it responds to the environment, it needs energy, it grows and develops, versus the virus. And the virus just kind of floats around in space until it lands on the host cell, and then from there it kind of sets into action, but it doesn't have any response to the environment, nor does it require any kind of energy input. Essentially, all of this is to say that cells are living, are classified as living for these reasons, as you can see up here, but viruses are not living.